don't be domain dependent, okay? This is something that you really, really need to grasp, and particularly at times like this where we are in very uncertain times. There's a lot of variables happening, to say the least. There's a lot of volatility with what's going on around us. You can't be domain dependent. And what I'm going to talk about today is largely going to be in regard to the dating market. You can't be domain dependent in the dating market, but equally this could apply in business and in other areas of life as well. So there's a lot to take from this. Now, I'm going to quote now from an essay by Mr. Rollo Tomassi, who wrote about this back in 2014. He talks about domain dependence in an essay which is called Domain Dependence. So I want to credit him because many, many great ideas in this space obviously come from Rollo, and it's important that we credit our sources. But anyway, he talks about domain dependence, and what he's really talking about here is being, as he says, domain dependence is being good at what you do in one setting, but completely unable to transfer that ability to another setting. Now, there's a variety of ways that you can interpret that when you're thinking about dating and you're thinking about, the dating marketplace. I suppose for myself, the way that I think about that is I think about, okay, so what method are you using to meet new people? What form of dating dynamic are you engaging in? What type of game are you using in order to bring new girls into your life? And what you often get is people who specialize, right? You get guys who will really specialize in a particular form of game, a particular method of meeting new people, and they can be very, very good at that, but they're not necessarily any good in other domains, and that is a problem, and we see that, genuinely, we see that as being a problem right now. Why? Because if you think about meeting people during the daytime, if you think about daytime approach, whatever you want to call it, if you think about that discipline, which is basically the ability to go and walk up to somebody that you've never met before in the daytime, begin a conversation with them, and hopefully exchange contact details and so on and so forth, right now, with what's going on all over the world, that option is pretty much not available to us as things stand. It's pretty much, you just can't do it at the moment. Okay, right, I mean, maybe there are some places where you still can do it, and maybe by the time you're watching this video, things will have eased up, and etc., etc. But you know what I'm saying? An event that nobody was predicted has basically come in and overnight, really, changed the entire landscape, so that particular domain, in terms of dating, in terms of meeting people, has now been removed from the equation. So if you're somebody who's incredibly good at meeting people through that method, but you're no good, say, in doing something online, for example, you've got no experience of doing online dating or anything like that, then quite clearly you are now going to be at a disadvantage, because the domain in which you are expert has now been taken away. Nobody's fault. Hopefully that situation won't continue for very long. But you see what I'm saying? Similarly, you could be amazing on one of the dating apps. You could be amazing on Tinder, but then what happens if for some reason your app gets removed, or for some reason you're not able to use that app any longer, or you lose your phone for 3 months or something, I don't know, then you are then going to be at a disadvantage because you were dependent on that particular domain. And the same thing goes also for nighttime approach, nighttime game as well. I used to be somebody, I was really, really into going to nightclubs, going to lounges, going to bars, all that kind of stuff. I still like it, but due to my maturing years, I don't do it as much as I used to do. And if you're somebody who that is your main focus, that's your main way of meeting people, then again, in a situation like we're seeing now, or as you get a little bit older, as your interests change, you're just not going to be either inclined or necessarily able to go to those venues anymore. And if that was your one outlet as far as meeting people is concerned, if you were domain dependent, then you're then going to be in trouble, okay? And really, this kind of fits in with the Taleb idea of anti-fragility, in a sense, okay? Because you need to position yourself, and again, as I say, this counts in all areas of life as well, not just dating, but you need to position yourself so that you are prepared for different eventualities. So it's sort of like, okay, so if this particular stream of new contacts is cut off, then I'll go to this one. And if this stream is cut off, then I'll go to this other one over here. Okay, so you want to have options open to you in all areas, including in your skill set, right? Now, the other thing that Rollo talks about as well is, say, different types of women. So you might have an idea that, okay, right, so I'm very, very good with this particular type of girl. Say it's a girl from a particular country, a girl from a particular background, a girl with specific interests or something like that. You know, you might have this idea, right, I'm very, very good with that type of woman. But then what do you do if suddenly, for whatever reason, you don't come across any of those types of girls, or you're not able to meet any of those types of girls for the foreseeable future? Again, you're at a dead end because you were domain dependent on that particular type of girl. And the same thing is true geographically as well. You know, it could be, you know, there are people I know who will travel to a specific country because they feel that is where they get their best results. So they're domain dependent in terms of geography for their dating options. But right now, we can't really travel anywhere. So what are you going to do? You can't go to that particular place that was your sort of paradise, if you like. So you're going to be stuffed. So the message of all of this, as always, is you need to broaden your options, and you need to be not domain dependent, both in terms of your skill set, in terms of your ability to project your value, because that's what game really comes down to, right? It's projecting your value, which is either real or assumed or a little bit of both. Projecting your value via the marketing funnel the marketing tool of game. You need to be able to project that value through a number of different channels, which could be online, could be daytime, could be nighttime, social circle, whatever. You know, you need to be adept across the board at different channels. You also need to have at least had some practice with different types of girl, with different types of people that you would approach. You know, you can't be just dependent on one particular like type, if you like. You know, you need to be somebody who, okay, yes, I may have a particular affinity for these type of girls over here, but equally, I'm also comfortable with talking to these ones over here. You know, you need to. You need to be adaptable in that sense. And you also can't be tied down to geography either, because it could just come to a point where, for whatever reason, you're not able to go to that place, or, you know, it's just not practical for you to do so anymore. And all of this is really mitigating or even hedging against just running out of options, okay? And as I say, I think the current circumstances that we're seeing at the moment around the world sort of brings that home, really, because actually, the way things stand right now, quite a few options have been closed off to many people. So if you've been somebody who's been prepared in terms of the different things that I've mentioned, then you're going to be able to weather a situation like this a lot better than somebody who is domain dependent. So make sure you're versatile. Make a real habit of going outside your comfort zone and thinking, okay, well, I love to meet people during the daytime. I really like meeting people in coffee shops. But tonight, I'm just going to go to the bar. You know, when the bars are open again, I'm going to go to the bar. I'm going to go to the nightclub because I just want to give something else a go, okay? And you just want to just practice stepping outside your comfort zone. You might think, well, okay, I do really well with this particular type of girl. Well, okay, fine, maybe you do. But, you know, once, twice a week, just try approaching some different kinds, because you've got to increase that circumference of expertise. And try going to different places as well. Don't always keep going back to that same place, because for whatever reason, that may not become an option for you in future, and you're going to need to have options. What I talk about all the time, basically, is creating options for yourself, right? It's the same thing with a business, right? You would say with a business, well, don't just have one stream of income. Don't just have one thing that you're making your money from. Don't just have one client. You need to have lots of different clients. It's exactly the same thing in dating as it is in business, in many, many different areas of life. You know, you need to have options, you need to have a fallback plan, you need to have a plan B, and just give yourself the best possible chance for success through having options and also being able to readily replicate what you're doing in a slightly different way for a slightly different audience. I hope that makes sense. I hope you enjoyed that. Do leave me a comment below. Let me know what you think. If you're at home at the moment, you're keen to learn more about this stuff, do grab Renegade Dating Blueprint, which is my collection of 11 books about all of the stuff that we've been talking about today: dating techniques, game, the dating marketplace, globally, all that kind of great stuff on the link below. It's only $39 at the moment as well, so it's a really, really good price. Remember that my course, which is called Charisma and Dating Academy, is going to be out at the end of April for 5 days. So 30th of April to May the 4th, you can enroll on that course, 5 days only. If you want more information about that and you want to stay in contact with me, then I send out a daily email, a free article every day. All you have to do is sign up on the link for the email list below. So do that as well. And please also subscribe to this channel. Click notifications. It really, really helps me to spread the word and to help more people. Hope you enjoyed the video. We will speak again very soon. Bye-bye.